Moses has just found his groove, shooting the ball, obviously. He's shooting the ball well, he's defending at a high level, he's competing every second. It's fun watching Moses play.
You always got to stay ready, and I'm a big believer in controlling what you can control, and whatever role I'm in, I want to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So whether not playing, I just want to see us win.
Has shown he's an NBA player, and the experience, the poise. He doesn't turn it over. He makes the right play. He can handle the ball under pressure. He makes the right pass.
Steve says you're always in the right places, connector. How do you kind of learn how to be a connector and be in all the right places?
Yeah, I feel like it started during camp, just asking our vets a lot of questions, seeing what they like on the floor, how they think about the game. I feel like that's helped me learn a lot quicker than most rookies, because I've just been asking them questions, trying to get them same thing.
This guy's a hell of a player.
The Golden State Warriors have an interesting problem. After facing the Sacramento Kings without Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, or Draymond Green, something happened that could change everything about the Warriors season. Just earlier today, the Warriors' 56th overall pick, Will Richard, was assigned to the G League. With all the aforementioned players, aka the veteran starters, being out, it only made sense to recall him back to the team. Not only was he recalled before playing a single game, he was put into the starting lineup next to Pods, Moody, Kuminga, and Post. In his first start to the season, Will Richard led the team with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal on 67% efficiency from the field and 63% efficiency from 3. This is the second most points put up by a rookie in the 2025 NBA draft, behind only VJ Edgecombe of the Philadelphia 76ers, who put up 34 points in 42 minutes on 26 field goal attempts. Richard did it with only 15. Not only that, he did it in 7 less minutes. Edgecombe is widely considered to be the frontrunner for NBA Rookie of the Year, ahead of even first overall pick Cooper Flagg, whose best scoring game tops out at 22 points. For all intents and purposes, Will Richard is playing like a lottery pick. Actually, I take that back. Will Richard is playing like a lottery pick with veteran experience. He just might be the best non-lottery pick the Warriors have had since Draymond Green. This leaves the Warriors with a tough decision, and that decision is who will lose their minutes to Will Richard. That decision is made even tougher when you consider the brilliant playing of another shooting guard, Moses Moody. Moody had yet another incredible performance with 28 points, hitting 6 threes, 4 blocks, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in 39 minutes to follow up another great performance in back-to-back games. Both of these players have been coming off the bench since the start of the season, with Moody slotted ahead of Richard. As a matter of fact, both Buddy Hield and GP2 have been ahead of Richard in the rotation. That has to change immediately. But the real story is, between Moses Moody, Will Richard, and Brandon Podziemski, which player is likely to end up as the Warriors' shooting guard by the end of the season? There's only one way to find out. Now get ready. Scoring big points and hitting threes can make you look good on paper, but when it comes to winning, your game has to come with more nuance. Take Will Richard for example. At 6'4" and a 4-year college player with the Florida Gators, he wasn't selected by the Warriors because he could put up points. What the Warriors needed when they selected him in the draft was everything else. That is, his on and off ball defense, his off ball play on offense, his cuts, his hustle, being in the right place at the right time, and everything else he does not named scoring that actually impacts winning. How might his ability to do all these things actually force Steve Kerr to put him into the Warriors starting lineup? It starts with knowing what the team needs you to do.
It's like going to a job interview and you're thinking you're going to be the CFO of the company, and they're looking for a guy to clean the bathrooms.
You always got to stay ready, and I'm a big believer in controlling what you can control, and whatever role I'm in, I want to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So whether not playing, I just want to see us win.
Let's start with this first possession against the Kings. The Warriors start out with a pick and pop action with Kuminga and Post. The Kings clearly did their homework, as this is the same play we broke down against the Phoenix Suns in the last video. They sniff out the play, leaving Post in no man's land. This is now a broken play. No room to get the pass to Pods for a reset, but he still has to get it out, so he finds Richard. As he goes in for the drive, the paint gets crowded. Richard is not going to take a pull-up midi, and he knows he's not a shot creator, so instead of trying to force the issue, he kicks it out to the point guard for a reset. His decision making is every coach's dream. While Pods doesn't hit the three, that is the correct play to make. On this next play, he's the first one to see Pods get stuck in the paint. He assesses this very quickly and makes a brilliant cut to the basket. Pods hits him in stride, and in this case, he gets fouled and heads to the line. The path of Hurricane Melissa went directly through my hometown when it made landfall. While I've lived in the US for most of my life, I spent the first 15 years in this very small town that I still visit often. It has now been left devastated and reduced to rubble. Many are dead, and those who aren't are struggling to get aid and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. My aunt's home was badly damaged, is currently without a roof, and everything inside the house was destroyed, including furniture, goods, food, and other supplies. She's currently without clothes, shoes, food. My goal is to help rebuild what she's lost and, if possible, help to rebuild and restore some semblance of normalcy to life in this tiny, close-knit community. I can only do that with your help, so I'm asking for you guys to support this disaster relief in any way you can. Anything helps. I've started a GoFundMe with all proceeds going directly to the aid of people in need. If you want to help, please click on the link below in the description, or you can scan the barcode on your screen using the camera on your phone. So far, we've raised almost $3,000 in donations for the victims of Hurricane Melissa. Thank you so much for your continued support. At the other end of the floor, he's got his head on a swivel. He makes sure his man is covered while keeping his eye on the ball. While doing this, he's still able to apply off-ball pressure, forcing the ball back out to the perimeter, but he doesn't stop there. The split second the ball comes loose, he's on top of the POA, and working in tandem with Moses Moody, they force a turnover and go on a fast break. While he gets fouled, it's still a scoring opportunity created by having active hands. Will Richards' archetype is the perfect shooting guard for this squad and might be the player Melton was last year, and that Steve Kerr is hoping Melton can be when he returns from injury. Richard moves very well without the ball, anticipates on defense and on offense, as well as doing enough cleanup to generate good looks for his teammates. I wouldn't be surprised if players are better with him out there on the floor, as he makes their mistakes less impactful or negates them altogether. We saw how well this type of player is next to Steph Curry, and outside of Klay Thompson, these types have been the most successful. This might be the solution for the Warriors' issues at shooting guard, to have Will start next to Steph Curry and bring Pods off the bench with a second unit. This would obviously only work in the small ball lineup, as Jimmy is the Warriors' shooting guard when the Warriors go big with post. Depending on how much better this lineup works, it could become the permanent lineup with Kerr shuffling players around to keep Dre at the 5 for limited stints. But a glue guy that can guard the perimeter and run the break are just the minimum you need to play next to Steph. This is what's so good about Will. Not only is he doing the dirty work, but when he gets the opportunity, he's knocking down his shots, hitting 5 of 8 threes on the night for an impressive 50% shooting from distance over 7 games this season. Second highest on the team only to Moses Moody. While his three-point shooting in college didn't have him as a knockdown shooter, the spacing in the NBA as well as his free throw shooting percentage while he was in college showed that this type of shooting from Will isn't unexpected. He also doesn't turn the ball over much with a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. The only player with lower turnover per minute played is TJD, and considering he doesn't handle the ball, that's saying quite a bit. Now speaking of Moody, he's had an incredible start to the season, and it seems he just keeps getting better. He's currently averaging career highs all across the board, a continuation of which could see him in most improved player conversations. My last video broke down how he was getting his threes, and while things were mostly the same with the Kings, the point to emphasize on that front is that when he's faced with teams that have undisciplined defenses, he makes them pay. The Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings are two such teams. This amazing play, which I don't know the name of, is a little different, although it starts out the same with a feed into the post. This triggers the action, and on this particular play, the Warriors set 2 sequential screens to scramble the defense. With Jonathan Kuminga originally up top and Moody setting a screen, the defense thinks they're running a play for JK to get a 3. Westbrook sees the action as he's familiar with the Warriors playing out of the post and calls for the switch. Unfortunately, that's exactly what the Warriors wanted. JK gets the easy second screen, which allows Moody to curl up top. As Moody curls, JK vacates the screen to cut to the basket as the defender realizes that JK wasn't actually the player going up top. As JK cuts to the baseline, Moody's defender realizes Moody's going up top to get the pass, but he runs into the post. Westbrook, who had switched on to Moody, is confused and follows the three-point shooter as well, not seeing JK cut to the baseline immediately. Once he picks it up, he hesitates, stuck in the middle between JK, who is open on the baseline, and Moody, who is open on the perimeter. Post sets a massive screen as Moody knocks down the triple, all the while JK is open under the basket, which would have resulted in an easy catch-and-shoot 3 for Will Richard, who was even more open on a connecting pass. While we're not too sure if Will Richard's shot will maintain over the course of the season, Moody has a higher certainty of doing so. This gives him a leg up in that department. In addition to his shooting, his length gives him an edge over Richard in switchability on defense. While Will may give you something more along the lines of Melton, Moody would be more like a Clay Iguodala hybrid that can guard 1 through 4. He's gotten much quicker with his already lengthy wingspan. I'll reuse the clip from earlier when we discussed Will, but here, Moody's able to stay with Neek Clifford, a 6'5" guard with a 6'8" wingspan. Dribbling the ball around Moses Moody is a choice he'll soon regret, as that length gives Moses more reach than most. He's able to poke the ball away from Clifford and, with the power of Will, force the turnover for the break. But it's not just down low that Moody can bother you. He easily smothers smaller guards, using 2 hands to arrest the point of attack. Those extra inches allow him to get even just a fingertip as the shot is going up, allowing him to tally up 4 blocks by the end of the night. If the Warriors are looking for that automatic fit like they had with pre-injury Clay, Moses Moody would slot right in at the 2 next to Steph. He's likely the first in line behind Pods to land that permanent shooting guard spot. Oh yeah, it might be difficult to unseat Pods from that small ball starting 2-guard slot, as Kerr has a preference for Podziemski next to Curry in the backcourt. Either of the two of Moody and Will could fit into the Warriors' shooting guard role. There is another solution, however, which might cause a few issues with the rest of the roster. Steve Kerr could elect to start both and have a lineup of Curry, Richard, Moody, Jimmy, and Draymond. This lineup would, in my opinion, be a better version of the lineup they had to end last year. While Pods is a connector, his fit in the backcourt with Curry isn't as good as his fit with Moses Moody. Moody and Curry have a net rating of 9.8, while Pods and Curry have a net rating of 7.4. Interestingly, however, Pods and Moody have a net rating of 20.1. That last rating has the largest sample size of 124 minutes of playing time compared to about 40 minutes for the other two. This is mostly because both players have been coming off the bench together. This also means a potential lineup that keeps Will on the bench in favor of a Pods-Moody combo at the 2 and 3 like they did last year, removing JK from the starting lineup. Things could shake out a couple of ways, but one thing's for sure. Both these players could thrive in that role next to Curry. I shouldn't have to tell you the benefit of reserving Pods off the bench to handle the ball and facilitate for the second unit, a position that neither Moses nor Will can readily fill. This balances out the roster much more so than if Pods were to start. Let me know if you agree that the recent play by Will Richard deserves to start a discussion regarding his role on the team. Does he start next to Steph along with JK, or do you prefer he played alongside Steph and Moody? Does he come off the bench next to Pods while Moody gets elevated to the lineup next to Curry? The Warriors' big lineup is very hot and cold, and especially against the Kings, who only had Drew Eubanks, they went a combined 0 for 13. Kerr might decide to just start the small ball lineup going forward. Post your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish!